Imagine spending uh, thousands of dollars to install this massive, impenetrable steel vault door on your house.
Right, but then you just leave a detailed guest book open on the front porch with all your bank account numbers written inside.
Exactly. And that bizarre contradiction is, well, pretty much exactly what modern digital security feels like for most of us.
It really is.
So, welcome to Calm Coding, your weekly cybersecurity podcast that covers the latest news and stories in the digital world. I am super excited to have you listening today.
We've got a really fascinating stack of research to go through.
Yeah, our mission today is to explore the architecture of what we like to call the digital fortress. We rely on all these complex, invisible layers of software to protect our personal lives, right?
Yeah, our finances, our private conversations, all of it.
But what happens when the walls of that digital fortress are undermined by government legislation or targeted by foreign nation states or, simply built with incredibly sloppy code?
The illusion of absolute safety shatters pretty fast when you look closely at that foundation.
It really does. So here's the agenda. We are going to look at consumer security tools, then move to a massive encryption battle currently raging in Canada.
Which is a huge story.
Totally. After that, we'll examine a super stealthy Iranian cyber attack on Los Angeles transit infrastructure. And finally, a really simple e-commerce flaw that exposed thousands of Trump mobile customers.
Lots of ground to cover.
Yeah. So let's start right at the individual level, looking at how we try to protect ourselves. And a prime example of the modern consumer toolkit right now is Bitdefender's all-in-one family security plan.
Looking at what is actually bundled in there paints a really vivid picture of what you and I are defending against on a daily basis.
Right. So first up is the password manager. This is essentially designed to stop the physical theft of credentials, like a family member who still writes their banking passwords on sticky notes and leaves them on the monitor.
Yeah, shifting from physical paper to a digital vault fundamentally changes your attack surface. With a password manager, your credentials are secured using military-grade encryption.
AES 256, right?
Exactly. To put that in perspective, if an attacker wanted to brute force that mathematical lock, just guessing every combination, it would take a supercomputer millions of years.
Wow.
Yeah, it scrambles their password into an unrecognizable state until you provide the master key locally on your device. What's fascinating here is how the threats are no longer just basic viruses, right?
Right. It's so much more than that now. You also have parental controls in these suites, filtering out Google searches and blocking inappropriate YouTube content.
Creating safe zones for your family network.
Exactly. And then you have features like digital identity protection. This one acts like an advanced scout, scouring the dark web and providing real-time data breach notifications.
Yeah, but how it does that is the really cool part. It's not like there's a simple search bar for illicit hacker forums.
No, definitely not.
Security firms deploy these automated bots to continuously scrape those hidden marketplaces. When hackers dump a stolen database, it usually has a mix of plain text and hashed or scrambled passwords.
Okay, so it's comparing the hashes.
Right. The tool takes your email, hashes it using the same algorithm, and constantly cross-references it against those scraped databases. The moment it finds a match, it alerts you.
Which gives you this critical window to change your password before the corporate breach is even on the evening news.
Exactly. You're acting proactively out in the wild.
But I think the most futuristic part of the Bitdefender suite is the AI assistant. They call it Scamio Pro. You can actually chat with this AI, feed it a link, or show it a video and ask, hey, is this a deepfake?
Which just shows how drastically the threat landscape has changed. Attackers use generative AI now to make flawless phishing emails and deepfakes that bypass our human intuition completely.
They really do look incredibly real.
Yeah, but Scamio works by analyzing the micro inconsistencies our eyes miss. Unnatural pixel lighting, synthetic audio artifacts, or routing anomalies in links. We literally need a trained AI to fight off malicious AI now.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's like turning your digital life into a smart fortress. You've got an AI security guard named Scamio, checking everyone's ID at the door, right?
That is a great way to put it.
And then you have SafePay, which is like the heavy steel vault. It's an isolated browser for banking with a virtual keyboard to defeat keyloggers. Plus, it comes with a bundled VPN to encrypt data on public Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that VPN specifically targets man-in-the-middle attacks. Like, if you're at a coffee shop on public Wi-Fi, an attacker on that network can easily intercept your data.
But the VPN stops that.
Right. It creates a cryptographic tunnel. It wraps your data in encryption before it ever leaves your laptop, so even if intercepted, it's just mathematical gibberish to the attacker.
So we build this impenetrable, heavily encrypted personal digital fortress. But Canada is currently demonstrating what happens when the government walks up and demands a master key to your front door.
Ah, yes, the proposed Bill C-22, also known as the Lawful Access Act.
Right. This bill aims to give law enforcement, specifically agencies like the CSIS, greater access to digital data to investigate security threats.
And the technical requirements are wild. It forces service providers to adjust their systems for surveillance and retain user metadata for up to a full year.
A whole year? That is a lot of data.
Lawmakers argue they need it for national security, tracking criminal networks and disrupting terrorism.
Yeah.
But the tech industry is in absolute shock over this.
The pushback is enormous. Google, Apple, Meta, Signal, even major VPN providers like ExpressVPN and Proton VPN are fighting back.
Mm.
Google warned this creates a literal surveillance infrastructure.
And they are not wrong. It breaks end-to-end encryption.
Yeah, Apple's Eric Neuenschwander strongly hinted they might just pull out of Canada entirely rather than comply, which they've done before. They killed an iCloud encryption feature in the UK over a secret order.
They're willing to abandon entire markets because of the mechanics of encryption. It's like sending a locked steel box in the mail where only the sender and recipient have the key.
Right, the postal worker or the tech company can't look inside.
Exactly. The keys to decrypt the message exist exclusively on the local devices.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. If a product is end-to-end encrypted, it's encrypted. You can't just have a good guy backdoor.
No, you absolutely cannot.
It's like asking a locksmith to build a lock that only stops burglars but magically knows when it's the police at the door and opens up. Once the vulnerability exists, anyone can exploit it, right?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that is the fundamental flaw in the legislative logic. A cryptographic backdoor does not care about search warrants.
A backdoor is a backdoor.
Right. If a company weakens their protocol for Canadian law enforcement, a malicious hacker or a hostile foreign intelligence service can discover that exact same vulnerability. You weaken it for everyone.
And what makes Bill C-22 really chilling for you as a user is the lack of transparency. The bill allows for secret orders without strict judicial oversight.
The eternal tension between national security and personal privacy is breaking here. The government could force a company to build a backdoor and legally gag them from telling you.
So you are totally blind.
Completely. You think you're in your safe digital fortress using your VPN, but the walls are actually made of glass.
Which is why those VPN providers are threatening to leave Canada. If the law makes privacy illegal, their entire business model is dead.
Exactly.
So governments are trying to legislate their way into our data. But while they debate access laws, foreign adversaries are simply breaking in and taking it.
And we saw that invisible war spill right into the public transit systems of Los Angeles.
Yeah, in March 2026, the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, or LACMTA, was hacked. It shut down arrival information displays and the TP card systems.
A highly disruptive attack on civilian infrastructure.
Sometime after the breach, a group calling themselves Ababil of Menab claimed responsibility. They acted like pro-Iranian hacktivists and claimed they stole 700 gigabytes of internal data.
The name references a U.S. airstrike on an Iranian school. It's this carefully crafted persona to look like an angry grassroots citizen movement.
But when cybersecurity firms look into a breach like this, they look at the physical infrastructure, right?
Right. And Gambit Security did exactly that. They found forensic evidence tracking the hack back to a server previously used in known Iranian state-sponsored campaigns.
Wait, how do they connect a server to a foreign military, though?
Threat actors have to lease servers and route traffic to move 700 gigs of data. Gambit analyzed the IP addresses and routing protocols and found they overlapped perfectly with Tehran's military cyber units.
Wow.
It's like tracking a digital getaway car back to an intelligence agency's private garage. Experts now believe Ababil of Menab is just a fake front for the Iranian government.
Kind of like that previous group, Handala, that wiped thousands of corporate systems.
Exactly the same playbook.
So what does this all mean? It's like a professional military intelligence unit putting on amateur street gang jackets to hide their tracks. They get the disruption without taking the official blame.
This raises an important question about attribution in cyber warfare. Plausible deniability is everything for state-sponsored hacking.
Because if they admit it, it's an act of war.
Right. If the Iranian government officially attacks LA infrastructure, that demands a massive response from the U.S. But if they use a rogue hacktivist front, they can deny involvement.
It lets them run destructive operations just below the threshold of armed conflict. And those 700 gigabytes of stolen data aren't just for bragging rights.
Not at all. That data is mined for strategic intelligence. They scan vendor contracts and internal network maps. The mundane info they steal from a transit authority today becomes the blueprint for attacking a power grid tomorrow.
That is terrifying. Okay, so we've talked about state actors and massive government surveillance, but sometimes your data is exposed without any complex hacking at all.
Oh yeah, sometimes it's just sloppy corporate coding.
Right. Which brings us to the Trump mobile leak. And before we get into this, I want to make it super clear to you listening, we are impartially reporting the technical facts here.
Yes, strictly focusing on the cybersecurity flaw.
We are not taking any political sides regarding Trump or Trump media. So a software developer found a flaw on the Trump mobile website that leaked the contact information of around 27,000 pre-order customers.
And the mechanics of this error are almost hard to believe. In secure development, user data should only be saved to the database when someone intentionally clicks the final submit button.
But that is not what happened. The flaw was a common e-commerce model error. The database generated a new entry at the absolute moment someone visited the checkout page.
Even if they abandoned the cart and didn't buy anything.
Yeah, it's like leaving the guestbook open on the front porch for anyone to copy. If I just start a cart and abandon it, my data is already logged. How common is this kind of lazy architecture?
Too common. Companies prioritize capturing data immediately so they can send you an abandoned cart email 5 minutes later. But doing that creates massive unnecessary vulnerabilities.
The leaked data included names, physical addresses, emails, and phone numbers. Now, Trump Media is investigating with independent pros, and they confirmed no sensitive financial data or social security numbers were breached.
And there's no evidence malicious actors grabbed the database yet.
Right. But even without credit cards, that specific combination of data is dangerous, isn't it?
It is an absolute gold mine for spear phishing campaigns. An attacker can use this exact info to text users, pretending to be Trump mobile support.
Oh, wow. Because they know exactly what phone the user was looking at.
Exactly. They can say, hey, your pre-order failed. Click here to update your payment. And because the prompt matches the user's real-world behavior, they are easily tricked into handing over payment details directly.
That makes so much sense. It really shows how you have to defend against technical incompetence just as much as active threats.
Absolutely.
Well, to briefly recap the journey we've been on today, we started by building personal digital fortresses with Bitdefender. Then we looked at fighting off government master keys in Canada.
Then tracking Iranian state hackers in Los Angeles.
And finally, getting tripped up by a basic checkout flaw on Trump Mobile. It has been a wild ride.
It really forces a profound reevaluation of our relationship with our own information. Think about it.
Yeah.
If your data is vulnerable to your own government by law, to foreign nation-states by force, and to trusted corporations by sheer accident, does the concept of private data even exist anymore? Or are we all just managing the speed of our own leaks?
Oof. That is a heavy but incredibly necessary thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining the conversation today. Remember to tune in next week for more Calm Coding. Stay safe out there.